Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Gene, and thank you for hanging with Uncle. Today I want to talk about how much elected Republicans really hate the working class and the poor. And this is evidenced by the spending bill that just narrowly passed the House by a vote of 215 to 214, with Republicans voting no and one abstaining, which if they would have had the courage to vote no, it never would have passed the House. But it did, and now it's on its way to the Senate. Now, in this bill are the cuts to Medicaid that Republicans swore they were never going to attack. But there it is. And cutting $800 million, from Medicaid. You can say, well, look, there's no cuts to Medicaid. Look at Social Security. We're not doing anything. But remember, Medicaid is governed by Health and Human Services, which RFK Jr. oversees. And that agency is getting slashed $800 million out of their budget. Guess where that money will not go? Okay? Our Secretary of Health and Human Services is going to make sure that anyone who relies on Medicaid won't have health. Again, another dichotomy of what's in this current administration put together by the coward in chief. So it's on its way to the Senate now, and what are the chances of it passing there? Once again, I'm looking at senators, Republican senators like Ron Johnson from Wisconsin, who was talking about this is an overreach and this isn't going to pass and we're not going to stand for this. But remember, there's a 53 to 47 margin in the Senate. And if the Senate wants to change the rules on how many votes it takes to pass a bill, then they could do what's called the nuclear option and just go for a majority instead of the 60 vote qualification that is required to pass a bill in the Senate. Now, what I'm hearing and what I'm reading, and of course these links are in the description box here, is that the Senate is not opposed to this bill. They just want to break it up into smaller sections so it's not one big massive cut, because they know everybody's up for re-election next year. And if these special elections are any indication, I feel sorry for any incumbent Republican who is trying to run for re-election and voted to cut Medicaid from people. Now, today is Memorial Day. And what does one have to do with the other? I'll get there, because to me this is important. Memorial Day is to remember all of our fallen soldiers who gave their lives for us to be free here in the United States. Okay, so like World War I, World War II, Korea, Vietnam, etc., the Desert Storm, the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan, all those heroes that paid the ultimate price, gave the ultimate sacrifice, also left families, wives, children, who are probably now at the age of receiving Medicare, Medicaid, right? And so what are we saying to those families of those veterans by cutting benefits? Just remember, not only is this about remembering our fallen soldiers, but remembering their families who sacrificed, their family for our freedom. And I think it's wrong to leave them out in the cold, okay? Especially when we have the coward in chief, Cadet Bone Spurs, who is a draft dodger, trying to take away from these families when he gave nothing to this country. Some gave all gave some, and one had bone spurs and didn't give a damn thing. And, that's just, again, my opinion. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Please leave them in the comment section. But if you think there's any chance that the Senate won't pass this bill, think again. They'll rewrite it, they'll send it back to the House and say, look, this is what we can agree to pass. So it will just be delayed. That's all. I have no faith in the Senate, and I urge everyone to please go to opensecrets.org, see who gave money to these candidates, and understand why they're voting yes to take your money, because they're getting kickbacks from these companies that are giving them their tax breaks, right? So I'm probably not explaining this, very eloquently, but I hope you get my meaning. This bill is going to pay for the tax breaks that the 1% already get, even though they'll never use Medicare or Social Security because they don't need it. They want to make sure you don't have it either, even though you're either are still paying into it or have paid into it your entire adult life while working and are now reaping the benefits of what you paid for. So vote them out. Vote in representatives that want to make sure they represent us, the American people, and not their donors who are getting rich off of these tax cuts and then putting it in the pockets of these elected officials in the way of campaign donations. Go to Open Secrets, okay? So that's all I have for today. Please hit the subscribe button and don't forget to hit that thumbs up, that like button. It goes a long way, and I personally greatly appreciate it. So thank you very much. Take care, and